Diego,
Hi,
hello.
Rupert.
Hi,
Hi,
Diego.
thank you for this opportunity.
Nice to see you.
You too. So, in one of your books, you tell a story about a master that is walking with his students, and then a tiger appears, and the master is the first one to climb up a tree, like running away from it, you know?
Yes, yes.
And so after that, the students ask him, why did you run away if you have always told us that we share the same being with all creatures? And the master responded, because I know that I share the being with the tiger, but the tiger doesn't know that, right? So my question is, why can the master achieve that knowledge, or any other person achieve that knowledge, and the tiger cannot, if it's not the mind or intelligence or a person who recognizes consciousness, but it's consciousness that recognizes itself. So if the tiger and the master are the same consciousness, why can only the master or only one person recognize or acknowledge that?
Diego, the story, of course, as you well know, is just an analogy. I don't mean to imply, or the Shankaracharya who originally told that story, Shantananda Saraswati, didn't mean to imply that if tigers recognized that they shared their being with all other animals, including human beings, they would stop hunting. They wouldn't. They would continue to do so. It is their nature to do so. I've known a lot of animals who I'm quite sure felt that they shared their being. We all, and I don't think animals have a sense of being an individual, temporary, finite self. I think we don't take the story, don't stretch the story too far.
Okay.
But to answer your question, why do I think the question is this: why do some people, so
Exactly.
if you can say this, why do some people seem to recognize their true nature and others don't? Of course, we understand it's not a person that recognizes their true nature, but permit me to use that language. Why do some people recognize their true nature and others not? It's just that in some minds, the contents of some minds obscure their true nature. And in other minds, the content of those minds is transparent to their true nature. If I go to my gallery view now, there's this nice new feature on Zoom. I see 49 of you at a time. There's a grid, 7 by 7. So I can see 49 of you at the same time, 49 lovely faces. But am I looking at 49 people or am I looking at one screen? Both are true, depending on the context. So consider each mind, Diego, like one of the thumbnail images of each of you on a screen. Each image I see of your face, it's a discrete image. It's bordered. There's a division between one person and the next. One person is in Spain, and then there's a division, and the person next door is in India. There's a clear division at the level of appearances. There seem to be 47 faces, 47 people, 47 images. But there's only one screen. Consider the same, that there are 47 minds, or 8 billion minds, 8 trillion if we include all the animals. 8 trillion minds, that's 8 little thumbnails on my screen, but only one screen, only one consciousness. And the images are more or less opaque. Some of the images are dense and opaque. Some of the images are more transparent, and they let the screen shine through, or they seem to. For instance, when I'm looking at my screen now, on the first page of my screen, 2 or 3 people have their cameras turned off. So I've just got 3 or 4 black rectangles where it seems that the opacity, the blackness, completely obscures the screen, so that the black rectangles would represent the people who have no inkling of their true nature. Everyone has an inkling of their true nature, but relatively speaking. Whereas most of the other images that I see are relatively transparent. Okay, I'm going to come back to my image of you now. So it's like that. One screen, one consciousness, numerous minds. Some of those minds are transparent. Some of them are opaque and dense. And the ones that are completely transparent, we say, oh, they've recognized their true nature. But it's not the mind that recognizes its true nature. It's just the light of consciousness shining through that mind, that shines unobstructed through that mind.
I understand. I understand. Thank you very much.
One last thing. Why is it that some minds are more dense and some and opaque and resistant, and some more transparent and luminous? Diego, the answer is, I don't know. I don't know.
Because of its conditioning, right? If the thing they have lived.
Because of its conditioning, but then the next question, well, why that conditioning? Yeah, you're right. Because of the conditioning, nobody is personally responsible. All kinds of elements go into the make of our own mind that we are not personally responsible for. But why? Why that conditioning? I don't know.
Rupert, would you allow me to make one very quick question?
Yes.
One more?
Yes.
Okay, so if consciousness experiences the world through our minds, let's think about a planet where there are no minds. For example, Mars, there's only rocks and sand. Does that mean that that part of the universe is not being experienced?
No, no. You see, Diego, you've allowed materialism to creep in to your thinking unnoticed. You've said, imagine the universe where there are no minds present to perceive it. Does that mean that the rocks and the planets, etc., are still whatever? But you're presuming that there are rocks and planets and objects independent of their being perceived through a mind. So the only reason rocks appear as rocks and objects appear as objects and planets appear as planets is because we perceive them through our limited faculties. So I'm not suggesting that there isn't a reality outside of each of our finite minds. I'm suggesting that that reality only appears as rocks and planets and objects when we see it through the filter of sense perception. When we don't see it through the filter of sense perception, the reality is still there, but we cannot call it a rock or a planet or an object. It only seems to be a rock or a planet or an object. It only seems to be a thing, an object, when it is viewed through the perceiving faculties of a subject.
I see.
So just to reiterate, I'm not suggesting that all there is to reality is the contents of our finite mind. That would be solipsism. I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that there is a reality that is beyond or outside of the finite mind, but it's made of consciousness stuff, not matter or material stuff. It only appears as material or matter, like rocks and planets, when we view it, when it is viewed through the lens of perception.
I see. Thank you very much for your patience and your
Nice
compassion.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Bye.